Hello, this is Moses, and this will be a tutorial covering the basics of using Mozzarilla. This tutorial will cover setting up Mozzarilla, demonstrating its basic usage, and showing where in general to find things. To do this, we will be making a customized assault rifle for the level A10, also known as the Pillar of Autumn. We will be using an empty tags directory. The only tags currently in it are the markers that you would have extracted when setting up basic tags directory. We have some maps right here from Halo PC, A10, bitmaps, and sounds. Those are the three maps that you'll need from Halo PC to go through this tutorial. Now, I can't provide these for you, but if you are using Halo Custom Edition, you should legally have a copy of Halo, so you can get them from the maps folder on your installation. We're going to be using Refinery to extract all of A10 to our tags directory. Map testing, Halo 1 PC, A10. So we're just going to run extraction, erase that, and tell it to extract everything to our Halo test tags directory. I'm going to cut this part out of the video, so see you in a moment. Everything extracted just fine, so we can close Refinery. We'll be using it later, but we're closing it for now. That appeared off screen. So this is Mozzarilla. This is essentially a replacement for Gorilla. The only thing it cannot do currently is play sound files. So this tags directory is kind of worthless. This isn't where we want it to be. So we can either add a tags directory or set it. Let's set the tags directory, or let's add a tags directory, and it's going to be right here. So now, if we want to browse that tags directory, all we have to do is open the little plus sign. This one we don't need anymore, so double click it to select it, and then remove. So now this is the only tags directory. Depending on whether or not you are wanting to use open source in your environment, you may want to choose the tag set. This is regular Halo 1, Halo 1 open source version 3, which most people will never use anymore. The current version of open source, some miscellaneous definitions such as the game types, and then a couple experimental ones. So, I personally prefer a different style than what you see right here. The gray and beige I'm not too much a fan of. So I will be loading up a different style, which looks like this. To open Refinery again, and do something a little different. We're going to rename the assault rifle in the map so that we can extract it and edit it. Because rather than overwrite our original assault rifle from the actual campaign, we're going to make a modified version. Assault rifle, let's make a silenced version of it. So now that assault rifle has been renamed, and all of the tags in here point to renamed versions. So everything inside has been renamed. So we can edit all of these. Don't save the map. Instead, we are just going to extract these tags. And extract. 69 tags. Finally, we're going to extract one more tag. And that is going to be a sound effect, a silenced firing sound effect, which we will be taking from a map that is in the description. This map, A50. I've already deprotected it. Just follow the previous tutorial on how to use Refinery for deprotection. So I'm going to load it, and we're going to rip one of these sounds. It does not matter which one, they are exactly the same. There's two of them simply because Halo has an issue with the way sounds are played for firing. If a firing sound effect is already playing, it won't play it again. So weapons that fire too rapidly will need multiple copies of the same sound played just to be able to sound right. So we're going to extract this sound for the SMG firing to our Halo test folder. Yep. And there we go. We've got every tag we need. So now, look at that. We've got an SMG sound effect. And it's correct. So what we're going to do is move that into here. And name it Fire 1. Copy it and name that Fire 2. We're going to do the same thing. Delete that since it's empty. We're going to do the same thing that CMT did to allow multiple firing sound effects to be played properly. So this silenced assault rifle, I have a list of what we are going to edit with it. And here is that list. So as you can see, there are a decent number of things we're going to be changing. The first of those, we're going to give it higher damage, accuracy, and make it silenced, but lower its fire rate and lower its ammo count from 60 to 20. And we're also going to make every other round a tracer rather than every third round. So first off, we're going to open the weapon and scroll all the way down. Let's see. So the first thing we're going to do is copy this fire bullet sound effect and rename it Fire Bullet 1 and 2. So now we've got Fire Bullet 1. Then we're going to duplicate to make Fire Bullet 2. Whoops. Oh, this is another setting I'm going to change. I use this setting because I'm very careful about it, but not everybody should. So as you can see, I roll the mouse wheel and it scrolls the config, and and it also scrolls the config even if I'm hovering over this. Well, I prefer to have this setting so that if I'm hovering over something that can scroll, it will scroll it rather than the window. Now this can mess with things. You could accidentally change a value without realizing it. That's why I don't recommend it, but I use it because it's easier for me. See? So that sound effect, we're going to add it to the events that occur when the assault rifle is fired. So here we go. Normally, this sound is played. We're going to change that to the sound we just extracted for the SMG. And then we're going to save this, copy that text, open fire bullet 2. And then there. Now the assault rifle will make silenced SMG sound effects. But it won't actually be silenced. We're going to change the sound of its firing. Let's see, that is right here. Instead of loud, we're going to put it on silent. And the firing rate, instead of 15 rounds per second, let's make this 5 rounds per second. Rounds between tracers. So essentially a tracer, it's what you actually see when the assault rifle's firing. We're going to change that to every other bullet. Save. And we're going to also make this much more accurate. So down here for the error angle, instead of 2 to 6.5 degrees, we're going to make that 0.5 to 2. Much more accurate. So normally, this value right here would determine how long it would take for the assault rifle to go from its minimum to its maximum fire rate. Let's actually use that. So we can make the assault rifle start out firing slow and then go to firing fast. Let's set it to 1 round per second starting, and then in half a second it goes to firing 5 rounds per second. That way it gives you a bit more control, and you can fire 1 round really easily if you want to. In fact, let's have a little fun and make it to where the projectile can do headshots. Ah, here it is. So to actually make a damage effect do headshots, you just check causes headshots. If an unshielded enemy is hit by a damage effect in the head that causes headshots, they will instantly die. So we are upping the damage of the assault rifle. So instead of 10, let's make it 30. Since we're cutting everything by 3s, this seems pretty appropriate. So normally, the assault rifle does pretty crap damage to certain materials. Let's make it pretty even all the way across the board. Maybe a little less to energy shields. All right, perfect. So these values right here control the maximum distance that the assault rifle bullet can travel. Since we're using it at a longer range, we want to up this probably to somewhere around 100. Whoops. These values control how much damage the bullet will do, how much the damage is scaled based on how far the bullet traveled. We're not going to mess with those. So now, those are all changed. But there's plenty of other stuff we have to do. In order for the counter on the assault rifle to actually read properly, instead of saying 60, it'll need to say 20. We will go to the numbers shader and change the numeric counter limit from 60 to 20. And then save that. And let's make the bullet for this new assault rifle look a little interesting. Instead of having a yellow contrail, let's make it red. So down here in the bullet contrail, it fades from bright yellow after an 1/8 of a second to black. Let's change that to some form of red. All right. Actually, now that I think about it, since we're doing that rule of threes, let's make it every bullet is a tracer instead of every other. Okay, so we've changed how it functions. Now let's change... Oh, I forgot about a thing. We need to change the magazine. This would be a lot of ammo for such a more powerful gun. Let's cut these by 3. So 80 initial rounds, 600 max, take that down to 200. Initial loaded 20, and rounds reloaded 20. Magazines that you pick up instead will give 80. Okay, so back to what I was saying. We have changed how it functions, but now let's change how it shows up on the heads-up display. So we're going to open the HUD for it. And static elements, yes, that's what we're looking for. So the static elements are essentially the backgrounds of heads-up displays. If I were to look at this, you see sequence index 1, it's saying to use sequence 1 for this bitmap, which would be that. Let's actually edit. Let's make a copy of the HUD alphas. Actually, we'll need to copy a couple of these. The HUD meters and alphas and outlines. Okay, that's good. So let's redirect this silenced assault rifle to using this modified, or this copied we don't need these bottom two rows. Now I could open Photoshop and make a new meter, but instead I'm just going to open the bitmap we just copied. And since it was sequence index 1, I'm going to modify the positions of that sprite. I'm going to cut this by 3 to change the bottom side of that sprite. So now, when I look at sequence index 1, it's only using the top row, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to save that number that I copied and open the other ones. I'm also going to turn a setting off real quick. I don't want it making backups of tags that I'm editing. That's just my preference. So we're going to open those two. Oh, whoops, I guess we don't need that one. Outlines, delete that. Alright, meters. This one we definitely will need. These are bitmaps that actually control what parts of the image to shade based on how many bullets you have remaining. So as you can see, it changes. So we're going to do the same thing here. Go to sequence index 1 and change the bottom side. And check. There we go. So that, instead of being a static element, will be used in a meter element, which is right here. We are going to redirect it to, whoops, to the HUD bitmap we just modified.
So the last thing we need to change in the assault rifle HUD tag here is the flash cutoffs. So the regular assault rifle will flash when you have 10 or less rounds in the magazine. Since this is a 20 round magazine instead of 60, let's change this to, say, 7. If you have less than 7 rounds in the magazine, it will flash. This one is the amount of extra ammo you are carrying. If you are carrying less than 61 extra rounds, your extra ammo will flash. So since 60 rounds is supposed to be one full magazine, let's change this to one full magazine for our assault rifle. Alright, so that is completely done. Actually, there is one other thing for the HUD that we need to do. And that is make the reticle more in line with how accurate this gun is. So scroll all the way down to crosshairs. And instead of using, where is it? Crosshair bitmap. So normally it's using sequence index 0. And sequence index 0 is, as we would expect, the assault rifle reticle. We want to use something more precise. Let's just make it have the regular pistol reticle, which is 8. So change this to 8. Now it will use the pistol reticle. and that'll do just fine. Perfect. So there is one more tag remaining to edit. However, this tag is a global tag. This is not something you can just drop in a tag set. And we will get to it through the HUD globals. So the HUD globals is one tag that's used for the entire tag set, and it's referenced through the regular globals. And the HUD globals references item message text. We will open this, and as you can see, there are a bunch of entries for picking up various things. The assault rifle uses number 4, and rounds for it are number 5. So picking up an assault rifle triggers string number 4. And here in items, message index, we don't want it to say that you just picked up a regular old assault rifle when you pick this up. So we're going to duplicate this and change what it says when you pick it up. Alright, so now we have a modified string list where number 47 is the name of our special assault rifle. So now we can close this, finish saving our weapon. Actually, since we called it a silenced assault rifle, let's change that from special to silenced. Alright, that should be good. Now we can load up Sapien, add this special assault rifle to the map, and test it out. Alright. So I have just loaded A10. I was wondering why there wasn't any sound. Alright, so let's put this special assault rifle right here on the table. But first, we're going to need to actually add it. I'm just renaming the weapon so that it appears under a different name in the palette here. This is a silenced assault rifle, and uncheck that so that it actually spawns on every difficulty. Let's have it start with 80 rounds. And save this as A10 test. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and close this, run pull, and compile our map. Alright, perfect. So now we have A10 test, and we can copy it over into our Halo Custom Edition Maps folder. and run Halo. I'm going to set it to heroic, and then once the map is loaded, I'm going to load our special version of A10. That way we're not playing on easy.
Come on, we've got to get the hell out of here.
I'm going to put it on game speed 2, just to make us move faster.
Stand by to repel boarders.
Shoot those blast doors. Move! Move! Over here! Sir, the captain needs you on the bridge ASAP. You better follow me. Help me help you. Get busy.
Don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief. Do what you do best.
And we picked up a silenced assault rifle.
Go on, eat it. Way to go. Follow me. Back it up. Great shot. Careful. That was me, my bad. My fault. You all right? Get out. My fault. Oh, yeah. I'll find the bastard. Back me up. Let's find him.
I think the ammo count is a little messed up. Shouldn't be able to carry this much ammo.
About time you showed up. What the hell? Did something just hit us? Move in. Back to the airlock.
Nope, never mind, this is right.
Fire in the hole! Damn it, back here.
Should probably lower it to around 100 rounds because these rounds can do headshot.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're using our lifeboat airlocks to attach their boarding craft. We go out and they come in. Clever bastards.
What's wrong with you? What the? Killed him, man.
I think it's a little overpowered.
Covenant, on the landing above us.
Alright, well, that seems to be a pretty good test. Oh, there is one thing I forgot to show. Alright, where am I? Oh, way over here. As you can see, the contrail is red now, because we changed it to be. Alright, that seems to be pretty good.